There's this incredible form of influence that has nothing to do with force or loud arguments. It's quiet, it's subtle, and it works completely under the radar. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the art of silent manipulation.
So let me ask you something. What if the most powerful kind of control isn't about being bossed around? What if it's about being guided so skillfully that you're absolutely convinced every single choice was your own idea? When we hear the word manipulation, right, we usually picture someone aggressive, loud, obviously trying to control things. But what we're looking at today suggests the reality is, well, the complete opposite. Real, effective manipulation can be silent. It can hide behind a whole lot of charm and even what looks like kindness.
So how does a manipulator even get started? Well, it all begins with this really crucial first step. It's called the seduction phase. And no, this isn't necessarily about romance. It's about gaining psychological access.
But how do they get that access? Look, they don't just kick down the door to your mind. They listen, they watch you, they learn to understand your deepest fears, your biggest insecurities, your loneliness, that deep down need we all have to just be seen and validated. These become the keys to the kingdom.
And this is the trap, right? This is why it's so powerful. Because in the beginning, it feels incredible. They shower you with attention, with affection, with these deep, meaningful conversations. They make you feel understood in a way you've maybe always wanted. And that right there, that creates a really strong emotional dependency. It's the foundation for everything that's about to happen next.
Okay, so once that bond is locked in, the whole pattern shifts. And this brings us to the core engine driving this entire process, what's known as the unpredictable reward trap.
Think about it. In a healthy relationship, attention and affection, they're pretty consistent, right? And that consistency makes you feel content, secure, it's stable, it's predictable. You feel safe.
But what happens when that attention suddenly becomes unpredictable? Warm and loving one day, and then cold and distant the next? Well, something inside you just flips. That stable contentment, it gets replaced by an intense obsession. You don't walk away. Instead, your brain goes into overdrive trying to get back to the good times, desperate to figure out what you did wrong and how to fix it.
And this isn't just a hunch. This is a well-documented psychological principle. It's called intermittent reinforcement. The source material makes a perfect comparison here. It is the exact same mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive. You have no idea when you're going to get a reward, so you just keep pulling that lever over and over again. So what does it actually feel like to be caught in this trap? What's going on inside your head? Let's talk about the emotional aftermath.
It really just creates this internal chaos. You start to doubt your own gut feelings. Your instincts feel totally unreliable. You find yourself replaying every little conversation. You start to think that their withdrawal is somehow your fault. And so what do? You work even harder to try and win back their approval.
And the end result of all this is a total loss of your emotional autonomy. Your happiness, your anxiety, your entire mood for the day, it isn't yours anymore. It's being dictated by the hot and cold actions of someone else. Now, I know this all sounds incredibly bleak, but there's good news. There's a really powerful antidote to all of this. And that brings us to our final section, awareness. It is the ultimate defense. The source material we're looking at builds to this really powerful point. It says that in this whole dynamic, the most dangerous skill isn't actually the manipulation.
It's awareness. That right there is the true superpower.
So why? Why is just knowing the key? Because this kind of manipulation can only work in the dark, when it's invisible. The second you can step back and see the pattern for what it is, the love bombing at the beginning, followed by the unpredictable hot and cold behavior, the whole illusion just shatters. You're not stuck in the game anymore. You're watching the strategy from the outside. And that recognition, that is exactly how you reclaim your power. It's really a two-step process. First, you have to see the pattern of those unpredictable rewards. And second, you have to make a conscious choice to stop hooking your self-worth to their approval. See, a manipulator's power completely dissolves the moment you stop needing them to validate you.
So, we'll leave you with this one last thought. Now that you see the blueprint, now that you understand the mechanics of how this works, the question isn't if you'll see it out there. The question is, where will you notice it first? In relationships, at your job, maybe even in how your favorite brands try to talk to you. Awareness really does change everything.